To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, August 20th. Welcome to another exciting, fun-filled, adventurous, news-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. I'm your host, Jason Braden. You may notice that the studio is a little bit empty again today. Unfortunately, both my wife and my co-host, Mimi, could not be on the show today, so I will be doing it alone. So, yeah, big bummer, but no big deal. It's just something that happens every once in a while. Just really quick, I want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Because I was having some audio issues before I came in. I think it's working, but if somebody could just pop in the comments to make sure that you all can hear me, I would appreciate it. I see we've got Amanda saying good evening. Hello, Amanda. Nice to see you. Patricia. Hey, Jason. Hello, my number one fan. Great to see you. Kevin. And Patricia says, yay, I can hear you. Awesome. Amanda says, I can hear you on Facebook. And Tyler. Hello, Tyler. Nice to see you. Glad that you can hear me too. Okay, perfect. Thank you all for confirming. I really do appreciate that. I have got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a very jam-packed episode with a lot of news about D23. Now, I really had hoped to have Mimi here because she is the only one of our trio, between me, my wife, and herself, obviously, that was able to attend D23 herself. She was there for a couple of days. She attended in costume, both as Wendy Darling and Jane from Tarzan. I was hoping she'd have some pictures. Maybe we can kind of present those next week, which I will get to a little bit later because we have some really great episodes lined up for you guys. We're going to talk about it at the end of the show, but the next 3 episodes after this one are going to be jam-packed full of special guests, and you're going to love it. I can't wait to get to that part. Tyler says, holy gamoli, that's a new one. I don't know if I've ever heard gamoli before. D23 was a hoot. I attended with Mimi, and we have so many stories. You know what, Tyler? I should have had you on the episode, too, just to kind of have you give your experiences and everything. If I would have known that, I might have actually had you on here instead. Amanda says, did you see that Mimi and Tyler were on D23's official recap video? Yeah, Mimi actually showed me that, and she was actually interviewed with a few people, so it was really kind of neat to see her in there. Tyler, I don't really know your face, so I didn't really know if you were in there, but yeah, that is super cool. I have pictures I can share. I wish that if you were on, you could share them, but maybe on social media. Maybe you can just pop some stuff onto the comments of this particular episode. I don't know if you can put them on here. If you can, upload it and do it. I'm kind of curious. I've never seen anybody do that before, but if you see an option in the comments to add a picture, let me know and I'll pop them in there. But he says next time, my friend. Maybe next time. Just check it out and let me know if you can actually do it. If you can, drop it in there. If not, no big deal. We'll do it next time. Last week's episode was crazy. We had Miss Terry Harden on the show. She is a riot. I had a lineup of questions for her about her career with Disney as an Imagineer, doing things for Star Tours and for also, I think she's done stuff for Splash Mountain. She's done stuff for Captain EO, not only as a puppeteer, but also as a stunt double for Angelica Houston. I had like a load of stuff to talk to her about. But unfortunately, we got a little off topic, which is fine because she is a great storyteller. And, you know, I love listening to her, but I realized towards near the end of the episode that we probably should have made it a special episode with a little bit more time padded at the end. We typically only go 1 hour, but we agreed, or she agreed, thankfully, to come back for another episode, and I'm happy that she did, because it's going to be a great pleasure to have her back, to be able to ask all the questions that I had planned for her. Really quick, I wanted to kind of give a quick shout out to Apple Podcasts. We do actually upload the audio of this show to Apple Podcasts, but I just got a update through one of my web channels, or one of my email notifications on it's the site that I upload all of my audio to, that sends it out to everybody. But they said that Apple Podcasts is now not just available to listen to on an app. You can also listen to it on the web. So if you do a search for Apple Podcasts, I think it's podcasts.apple.com. If you don't have a phone that has or smartphone that you can go to the web on, and listen to it on an app, you can go on the web now. So podcast.apple.com, search for Main Gate Magic, and you can hear all of our episodes uploaded there, audio only. I don't understand how this wasn't a thing before, because I guess all you could do before was just go on the app. Amanda says Terry is awesome. We love her. Yeah, she's just an amazing person. So much energy, got a great soul, and just brings a lot to the show. It was a true pleasure. So can't wait to have her back. Before I dive into D23, I wanted to talk about a little convention that I went to this weekend. I went to a show in San Jose called GalaxyCon. Now, apparently this is a show that does tour the U.S., but has never made it to the Bay Area. I think this was the very first one they did. And what a show it was. There was tons of people there, Disney and non-Disney alike. Non-Disney folks that I was able to run into, were people like Denise Crosby from Star Trek as well, Will Wheaton. I got to speak to both of them. Robert Picardo, also from the Star Trek universe and many, many other movies. Just a funny, great actor. Corbin Burnson from Major League and LA Law. Weird Al Yankovic was there, had a great panel that he talked to everybody about. Got to ask him a few questions, which was a lot of fun. And I think John Cleese was there. I never got a chance to speak to him. John Rhys Davies, I always get that mixed up, but the guy that played Sala from the indie movies, and I might be messing this up, but Gimli, I think it's Gimli from the Lord of the Rings trilogy movies, the dwarf, just a phenomenal actor, and they were both there. The lines were too long, I couldn't get there, and I also ran out of money. I couldn't get any autographs. Patricia's correcting me. Yeah, Gimli. Okay, so I think my second guess was right. Yeah, and Amanda, an amazing lineup. And the other amazing parts were the Disney people that I was able to speak to, including Tate Donovan, who did the voice of Hercules himself, and Susan Egan, who did the voice of Megara. I was able to speak to both of them, and they both expressed interest in being special guests on this particular podcast. So keep your eyes peeled, folks. They might be actually attending in future episodes. Christopher Daniel Barnes, who played the voice of Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid, was also there. Super nice guy. Also a lot of great energy. He was interested in being a special guest as well. So those three people will hopefully be on future episodes. I've made contact with them, both in person and also by email, whether by their agent or them directly. And hopefully we'll get some of them on here. I think that'd be so exciting. Just a lot of great conversations that could be. And I might actually stretch those ones out as well, so we just have more time to talk about everything. Yeah, that is exciting. That's exciting, Amanda. I'm stumbling over my words already, and we're barely even 10 minutes in. All right. Other Disney guests that I met but was not able to confirm to get on the show because they just seemed very busy, and they gave me kind of the static answer of talk to my agent, which I might if I can. Not to say that I'm not going to try, but they didn't seem as attainable as the other ones that I mentioned, but still very lovely people, wonderful to actually meet for the first time. Jodie Benson, who was the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid, and Chris Sarandon, a.k.a. Jack Skellington, And a little bit off topic of Disney, he was also my favorite vampire in the entire world, Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night, probably my favorite horror movie ever. And also Ken Page, the voice of Oogie Boogie. He was on the panel with Chris Sarandon, and they talked about the film Nightmare Before Christmas. So that was a lot of fun. I got to ask them some questions, and overall had an amazing time at the show, and even ran into some friends, some convention friends that I normally see when I'm hanging out with my buddy Andrew at the shows that he invites me to. So that was overall just a very good time. Went a little over budget on the autographs, but it's okay because I got a lot of good memories and some good stories to talk about. Patricia says, that's awesome. Yes, it was awesome. Thank you, Patricia. All right, let's get down to business. D23, holy cow. News. Now, there's been a lot of yays and a lot of boos about the stuff that's coming out. I haven't really heard a lot of negative stuff about the movies, and that's what I'm going to kind of cover first is the list of trailers and new movies that we were introduced to. Some of them we already knew that they were coming out and maybe had teasers before, but now they have full trailers. So we'll talk about those, and we'll also talk about the new movies announced that technically didn't really have any new trailers or maybe just had like a really quick teaser or spoiler. Amanda says, Jodie Benson and Christopher Daniel Barnes could be a great set of guests together. I would love to have them together. And I wish I would have thought about maybe asking Christopher to see if he has any pull with Jodie to see if maybe we can get them on the show together. But if he answers, then yeah, maybe I'll see if I can make that happen. Kevin says Chris Sarandon was also in Princess Bride. Yes, now on Disney. Perfect. That's a great thing. It's on Disney Plus, but is it part of the Disney universe now, or just because they own whatever production company or streaming service that it appears on? I don't know that, but yeah, but either way, great role, great character, and one of my earliest introductions to Chris Sarandon, of course, was the detective in Child's Play, the first Chucky movie. So been in a couple of horror movies here and there. It's Fox, owned by Disney now. Yes, definitely owned by Disney, so it is under that Disney umbrella. That would be awesome if I could talk about that too, because that is one of my favorite movies. I love it. All right, back to D23 and the movies. One of the first ones that I think was shown, at least I'm kind of going down the list. I have no idea if this was the order they were shown in. I kind of picked and pulled a lot of different things from my memory and also from the web, so you guys will have to bear with me. But Moana 2 had a new trailer. Looking forward to that. I don't have release dates. I'm not going to go over a lot of stuff in detail as far as either when a movie is coming into production or when it's going to be released. You guys are smart. You can look it up on Google just like I did. This is just sort of like a comprehensive overview of everything that was discussed and shown. Looks good. All the familiar characters are back. Moana, Maui, Hey, my favorite character from Moana. He's like the crazy chicken from it. And I think Pua was the name of the pig. He's back and a little bigger. He's gained some weight, but he's a pig, so, it's to be expected. And I believe Moana has a little sister in this now, too. So it kind of makes me wonder how much of a role she's going to play in this, since she's kind of like new to the family. I don't think she had a sister in the last one. So it makes me also wonder, like, how many years has it been since the last movie for this particular one? But it looks good, and I'm looking forward to it. And I know that the live action Moana, I think, is either still in production or it's done, but they haven't talked about a release or given it a trailer yet, or it's probably mid or early production. But I know they wanted to release Moana 2 before they did the live action version of Moana, and that's the reason why that's probably not going to be happening until, my guess would be, fall of 2025. That'd just be my guess. Yeah, I'm excited for Moana 2 as well, Amanda and Kevin. Moana 2, this time more Pua. It kind of seemed like it based on the trailer, but it's hard to tell because I know they just kind of throw those characters in there just to be like, yep, hey, they're still going to be in this movie. Mufasa, the Lion King. We talked about this a couple episodes ago when we actually had our topic as the Lion King. Had a new trailer. but we've already gone over that. If you guys actually want to see the trailer, you can look it up online, or you can even see episode, let's see, we're on 19 now, so that would have been episode 17. We did a breakdown of the trailer at the very end, and we talked about the history of The Lion King, past, present, and future. That was a lot of fun, and my theory behind the whole thing was that this particular story is going to be a telling of Mufasa's past by the current Lion King, Simba, and his family, you know, telling it to his son. Because we saw Timon and Pumbaa and everything on that, and when we saw the trailer, the new trailer, the full trailer, it seemed like that was kind of a confirmation of what was happening. But it also seemed like there is actually more of a storytelling aspect to the present day Simba than just saying, oh, hey, this is the story of my dad. But more to come as we learn more on that. The teaser trailer, and I am calling it a teaser trailer, for Snow White is out. I think it looks really cool. I know that there's been a lot of controversy around it. They made it look very true to the original. There's a lot of good scenes in it that looked like it was a direct match of the original movie. I'm sure there's going to be some changes, and I'm sure that there's probably going to be some haters out there, but first full-featured Disney animated movie. It's epic. And they need to make it epic in order for it to be a success, because it's got some pretty big footsteps to go into. Amanda says, I thought of your show when they played the trailer. Some questions we had on the show were answered by the clip of the Brothers song that we saw on D23. I still have a few questions, though. Yeah, I mean, again, obviously as more trailers get released, because I think if you're talking about Mufasa, I think that one's actually coming out later this year. It's going to be out before Christmas. So I'm sure more stuff will come, and, you know, we'll get more information as they get released. The next movie that I am super excited about that I have on my list here is The Incredibles 3. Super happy about this, because The Incredibles are probably they're probably my top 3 favorite Pixar movies ever made. Such a great story, such great direction and actors. Brad Bird is coming back to direct this one again. It just gives me so much joy to think about what the Pars are going to be up to next. The thing that I kind of thought about, though, is Craig T. Nelson he's getting up there in age, and I mean, I've heard him on Young Sheldon as one of the characters on there, and, you know, he kind of plays an older character on the show, and it's kind of hard to imagine Mr. Incredible sounding the way he does, so I'm kind of curious how old the characters are going to be in The Incredibles 3 based on that alone. Unless they're going to, you know, maybe possibly change his voice with a little bit of, you know, Disney magic, but who knows? We'll have to see how it goes. What do you think the plot of The Incredibles 3 will be? That is a really good question. I mean, the end of the last one, if I recall, let's see. That was the one where all the superheroes were being put under control by the Mind Bender, I think is what it was. But I don't remember, I think, because and the superheroes were like back, and this was kind of like the way that they ramped up the superheroes. So maybe this is just a lot of the superheroes coming out of the woodwork again because of all of that, and maybe coming up with some kind of new plot for that. But I mean, it could be anything. They left it wide open, so it's a good question. But I mean, toss a coin into the pond and see where the ripples lead, because it could literally be anything. What's up, Dad? How you doing? Good to see you. Glad you're able to join. Kevin says the Underminer is still out. Yes, he is, because they never stopped him in the second one, right? He got away, unfortunately. So, let's see. Lapidary Class was canceled. I got to see me live. Okay, cool. In case anybody doesn't know, my dad is a rock hound, and Lapidary Class is, I think, is that the one that you teach at? To teach everybody how to polish and shape rocks and stuff like that. Done it with them before. It's a lot of fun. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting process. Next movie. This one was just a quick little teaser, but it was cool and cute because it was for Lilo and Stitch. It's the live action Lilo and Stitch. that is going to be coming out, I think, in a year or two. Again, the dates, I'm not 100% on these. But it literally just showed Stitch popping out of the title on the screen in his usual terrorizing fashion, and he looked pretty cool. It wasn't like a Sonic the Hedgehog, oh my god, what did they do? Why did they make him look like that? I think they actually did him pretty well, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I can only assume it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun because they didn't really show the movie. But I loved that movie. Stitch is a very iconic character, and even though he doesn't say much, he speaks a lot with his actions. It's such a great character. Patricia says, I'm so glad Stitch did not look like ugly Sonic. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can't believe that actually had happened when Sonic the Hedgehog came out. And there was such a huge reaction from Ugly Sonic in the trailer that they actually redid the entire character for the movie. And I'm so glad they did because it made a difference. I think I enjoyed it a lot because of that. If I would have seen Ugly Sonic up there the entire time, I don't know if I would have made it through the whole movie. So yeah, Happy Stitch does not look like Ugly Sonic as well. All right, another teaser that was done was Toy Story 5. This one did not have any voices in it. It was just the characters on the screen, the usual cast of characters. But I did actually see an interview with, I think, the director, who said that the theme for this particular movie now is going to be kids, the toys fighting for the attention of the children because they are now into video games and iPads and iPhones and social media and stuff like that. So it's how do the toys contend with all of the latest gadgets and gizmos of social media and, like all that other stuff. So that is going to be something tough to overcome as a toy, because I know for a fact, having kids of my own who grew up with that kind of stuff, they went through a video game phase and toys just kind of got pushed aside. So totally get it. Kevin, Ugly Sonic was pretty great in the Rescue Rangers movie. Yes, he was. He was actually at a convention, if I remember correctly, just signing autographs. It was, if you guys have never seen the Rescue Rangers movie, it's really funny. And if you want a movie that has like all sorts of crazy, obscure Disney and other cartoon references, not just Disney related, you got to watch it. It is so funny and definitely a recommended movie for anybody who loves cartoons, not just Disney, but other as well. Frozen 3 was announced as well. And speaking of which, I have to make a comment that I saw the opening video to the D23 convention, and I don't know if it was the opening movie or the opening video or clip, but Patrick Warburton came back as the flight attendant for Soarin'. And I'm just saying Soarin' because that is just the general name for the ride, both in Disneyland California Adventures and also, just California Adventure, and also at Epcot, I believe, is where the Florida version's at. And he did a whole spiel just like he did at the beginning of Soarin', but geared towards D23. And it poked fun at everything Disney. It was, and he's like, okay, so we've gone over the checklist. We've done imaginary seatbelt check. We've done Frozen. So that just reminded me, it's like, that speech was incredible. If you guys get a chance to pull it up on YouTube or something like that, it's so funny. Because I love that Disney is just making fun of themselves by doing that. It just shows that they're aware of the feedback from the public that they get. Kevin says, Chief Flight Attendant Patrick did kick off the night. He's the best. Yeah, that spiel, I've heard it a million times, and it's one of those that I have to bite my tongue not to repeat when I'm standing in line, just like the Haunted Mansion when the ghost host is talking to you in the stretching room. I used to be one of those guys, but I have quickly learned that it is kind of taboo to say it because you don't want to spoil it for anybody else who's never been on before. I know, I get it, but I still mouth it. I'm like, ma'am, in the line. If any of you guys are like that too, you got to let me know because I can't be the only one. Next up on the list, Zootopia 2. I believe that one did have a teaser trailer. I loved the first movie. Lisa and I just recently rewatched it, probably like a few weeks ago, and forgot how much of a really good movie, and talk about a lot of Easter eggs in it as well. Lots of character references from different Disney movies. It's just got a lot of stuff in there. And I'm happy to see that there's a sequel because it is such an immersive, large world. You can do pretty much anything story-wise. I have no idea what the story is going to be, but we'll see. Next up on the list, the Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, I think they just talked about this at D23. I don't think if they did show a trailer, I think it was cameras off, but from what I understand, there is leaked footage out there. I did search for it. I found some stuff. I know Pedro Pascal is going to be Reed Richards, I think is the name of Mr. Fantastic, the guy who can stretch. And I don't remember who the rest of the cast is going to be as far as the Thing, Sue, and Johnny Flame. But I'm kind of curious to see how this one turns out because the other Fantastic Four movies have some credible things in them, but I feel like they still haven't hit the mark yet. There's still some things I like to go back and rewatch and everything. The one with the Silver Surfer was really good. And I know that our buddy Andrew Nelson, I think when he was at ILM, he actually helped work on the Silver Surfer. Andrew, if you're out there and you're listening, maybe you can confirm. But it'll be interesting to see how they do it this time because, from what I understand, they're going a bit retro, and I think the time frame is set more in the 60s for this particular movie. So they still go into space, they still get their powers, but it's just a different decade. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, being so far back in time. It must be like some kind of alternate universe, which I know plays later on when I started getting into the Marvel stuff, but it'll still be interesting to see how they pull it off. Let's see. Kevin says they said they had just started filming a week before the D23. Okay, got it. Thanks for the news update there. Jungle Book cowbell scene was so subliminal. Which one, Dad? I don't know exactly what that was because I've already gone over a few. I don't know if you're talking about Zootopia. I think maybe you're talking about Zootopia. I didn't know if you've ever seen Zootopia. Maybe that's in there, and I don't remember. And then Kevin says this is going to be the first Fantastic Four movie, F4 movie, made by Marvel. The others were made by Fox. That is true. So maybe it'll hit that mark. Because the stuff that has been made by Marvel, I have enjoyed. Almost every single movie that they've produced, I've enjoyed. So maybe this one will actually hit the mark. And I know that the Fantastic Four, at least one of the characters from the Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, was in, I think it was the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Reed Richards was on this like council that Doctor Strange came upon, and it was just a brief appearance. But that's the only time that I've seen any member of the Fantastic Four since the last movie that Fox made. All right, moving along. Let's see. We said Zootopia 2, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Born Again. Another one that, like the Fantastic Four, I think they said had a leaked trailer. I didn't do any searches on this. If you guys want to check it out yourself, go right ahead. I never saw the series on Disney Plus or whatever platform it streamed before. I think before it was on Netflix. But I believe they have platformed it over to Disney Plus because it is part of the MCU now. And I've heard it's a really good series. I love the character, but the last time that I saw anything Daredevil was when Ben Affleck played it, and he was in there with Elektra. So Dad was saying that Jungle Book, when he meets the Ape King, played by Christopher Walken, there was a cowbell in the treasure. Oh, the movie, The Jungle Book. Okay, gotcha. I didn't know if you were talking about that or if you were talking about like a reference from Zootopia when I was talking about that. Patricia says Netflix Daredevil was good. Yeah, I've heard many things, and one of these days when I have some time to start watching shows again, I will it's definitely on my list. I gotta watch it. Um, Avatar 3, Fire and Ash, the next in the series of Avatar movies by James Cameron. If you guys have not seen the first and second one, please do. If you never had a chance to visit it on the big screen, I am so sorry, especially if you never got a chance to see it in 3D, because if you ever go see a 3D movie, the Avatar movies are it. And I'm not kidding. I've seen other movies in 3D, like Disney stuff, and just other action movies alike, animated and live action alike. And they pale in comparison to the way that Avatar looks on the big screen and in 3D. The first movie was good. The Way of Water, I dare say, was just as good, maybe even a little bit better. But the next one, we really didn't get much more information regarding the plot of the movie, just that that title has been announced recently. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan were going to be reprising their roles in a Freakier Friday movie, from what I saw. I think we had kind of already known this, but apparently they made special appearances to talk about the making of that movie and that it will be out eventually. Kevin says that IMAX 3D is even better. 100%. You get that huge screen. It doesn't matter where you sit in the theater. You're getting a 3D experience. It's amazing. I absolutely agree with that. Tron Ares. That I am excited for as well. When I was younger, Tron was one of my favorite Disney movies. Not particularly animated, but it kind of had like sort of animated effects in it. But the whole thing about getting zapped into a computer and playing video games in real life was cutting edge for the time. And it's a movie that I remember going to the theater as a kid and seeing it over and over and over again. Terry Harden, who was on the show last week, talked about being the #1 Star Wars fan because of how many times she went back to see Episode 4. I could have been a contender for seeing Tron that many times, I think, because I would try to see it at least 2 or 3 times in one day, sometimes. 2, definitely. 3 would be pushing it, but it all depended on how much time I had before I had to get back before the sun came down. So the second one was really cool. Jeff Bridges reprised his role as Flynn, who is now living in the computer world. And now, from what I understand, Tron Ares is going to be a continuation at the end of part 2, where the I'm going to say community or AI people that were in the computer world now come into the real world. So it looks a little bit chaotic and maybe even sort of dystopian, but we'll have to see how it plays out. The trailer is pretty cool. If you guys want to see it, check it out. It's really neat. Let's see. Amanda, what you got to say here? The music for Tron is going to be from Nine Inch Nails. Yeah, I know. Thank you for reminding me, because she says not Daft Punk this time. Should be interesting and may give it a different vibe. I'm glad that you brought that up, because when they first did the opening trailer for Tron, or the announcement for Tron Ares, if you guys see the video from D23, they did these laser projections up on the screen that drew the Nine Inch Nails logo. And then there was this entire red laser grid line above the audience that looked so Tron-like. It was really neat. I mean, it was very subtle, very easy for them to do, obviously, but it was effective. And I got chills when I saw it, because I'm like, oh, that's cool. Now, I don't really know a lot of music from Nine Inch Nails. I know a few, but it'll be interesting to kind of hear if they're doing stuff that they already have, or if maybe they'll be making some new music for the movie itself. That would be interesting to see. Next up on our list, Elio is a new Pixar sci-fi movie, and it's about a boy who becomes accidentally an ambassador to Earth, to aliens. I think he has like this like dream of meeting aliens and getting abducted and going to their planet. And they always say, be careful what you wish for, and apparently his wish comes true. If Pixar is going to hit the mark on anything, I mean, they've done tons of movies. There's a lot that I love, and a few that I just think are okay. I'm hoping this kind of goes into the ones that I love, because I'm a big sci-fi fan. I love the whole theory about, aliens being out there. If any of you guys are, theorists like me, as far as the galaxy being, the universe being as big as it is, and we're the only ones is kind of like an ignorant statement, then you're on the same level as me. So I kind of hope they hit it out of the park with this one. And then on the line of Pixar as well, there is another movie coming out called Hoppers. I don't know much about this one except that it has to do with a girl who is able to she wears some kind of device on her head, and she's able to control a robotic animal. I want to say it's like a gopher or a beaver or some kind of weird obscure animal like that. I don't know much more about it. I don't know if they have much more about it out there. I saw some concept art of a scene with the girl having her little helmet on and the animal running wild with, I think, maybe her mom screaming, in the background or something like that. But it'll be interesting to see what that is. Apparently, that's going to be the next feature animated film after Elio. And then I'm guessing after Hoppers, hopefully will be Toy Story 5, but we'll see. I'm not really sure about the order here. Amanda said back to Tron, the lasers were so awesome, even for our seats above the grid. Yeah, I didn't think about that. The video that I saw was above the grid, but it would have been interesting to see what it was like below the grid as well. That's kind of cool. Kevin said the lasers were the lasers were below us. Wait, so hold on a second. Amanda, were you not with Kevin at the time? Because Amanda says the lasers were so awesome even from our seats above. And Kevin says the lasers were below us. Okay, I'm reading it differently. So yeah, I get you. We were in the 400 section. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but I'm sure it's probably like the nosebleeds. And I know it was at I think they call it the Honda Center. It's a different arena, bigger than the Anaheim Convention Center, because this was a big show, and I think they knew they needed to have it in a larger venue. Amanda says, Hoppers, spring 2026, a girl named Mabel swaps brains with a rodent. Piper, Curta, Bobby Moynihan, and John Hamm. Two of those names I recognize. I'm not sure who Piper is, but thank you for giving us that information. And that was all we got from D23. Well, you know what? It was cool, right? All right, two more movies on the list. A movie called Monster Jam that is actually going to star The Rock. The only thing I know about this one is that it's actually going to be about monster trucks, and it kind of makes sense to have The Rock in it. He makes some fun movies, so who knows? I'm sure it'll probably be a lot of fun. And then one that I am definitely looking forward to because I love the series so much, The Mandalorian and Grogu have their own movie. Now, we know that this has actually been in sort of like the chamber for a while, but they just made an announcement about the release of all these things. And again, I'm not sure if they have a release date set for these. They put a lot of release dates with all of these movies. You'll probably have to go online to actually find out more details about that. Kevin says Honda Center used to be known as the Arrowhead Pond. It's where the NHL Ducks, the Mighty Ducks. Yeah, the Ducks play. That's the like the Anaheim Ducks, I think is what the official city for the Ducks is. And of course, based on the movie, The Mighty Ducks. So, all right, that's enough for movies. We got a couple of series to cover before I start getting into the park news. We're barely even there. I might have to go over the hour for this one. Star Wars has a new series called The Skeleton Crew. That one is going to be, from what I can tell, based on what I saw in the trailer, it's like Goonies in Star Wars. That's the best way that I know how to describe it. It's a bunch of kids who go on an adventure, and when you go on an adventure in the Star Wars universe, you are doing hyperspeed, travel on starships, and you got a young Jedi with you. You probably have like a creature with you. It can be a hodgepodge of all these different characters and everything. So, still, I'm gonna watch it. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm sure it'll be cute, quote unquote cute. But we'll have to see because, unfortunately, the last series called The Acolyte, I actually thought it was pretty good. I go in it for the adventure, the action. The storyline was fairly good. I mean, it had some holes in it here and there, but I was able to get past it, and there was a certain group of characters in there that I just thought didn't fit. But unfortunately, I heard that that series is already canceled. It got such bad reviews and low ratings, I guess, that they decided it's not going to be able to make it a second season. So if you want to see it now, because there's not going to be any more after that. Amanda says, I meant that's all they told us about Hoppers at D23. That's more than I knew. I think all I heard it from was like a quick little interview with one of the Pixar producers or directors or something like that. But the event itself was amazing. Yeah, we will be going probably the next time, which will be I think it's every 2 years, so 2026. Lisa and I definitely will be going to the next one and plan to make the most of it. And we will, if we're still podcasting by then, we'll have a much more informed show than just me searching the web. All right, back to the series. They also announced Agatha All Along. I think that was also known before D23, but they and I think that there is a trailer out there for it. It's the follow-up sequel to what happened after WandaVision, and the villain Agatha, who fought Wanda in the movie or in the series. Wasn't a huge fan of WandaVision, and I don't know if I'll actually watch this because just it doesn't seem kind of up my alley. But I know that I know that Wanda and Agatha have like a huge following. I know there's a lot of people out there that love them, so I think it'll do well. But I just don't know if it's for me or not. There is also a new series coming out by Pixar. It's their first original series, not based on any prior movies, called Win or Lose. I don't know anything else about that. If anybody else has heard anything about it, pop it in the comments. I'll repeat it. I'd be happy to share it with everybody else. But kind of cool that they're actually making their own series. They are also making another series based on the Inside Out movie franchise called Dream Productions. And it is exactly what it sounds like. If you have ever seen the first Inside Out movie, there is a part of Riley's head where they produce dreams. It's like a big movie studio, and they bring in clowns and unicorns, and they have her, they show the vision through Riley's eyes, and they do all these embarrassing things when she's in class. And then, of course, the characters that are trying to get their way back to the control center, they mess everything up, and her dream becomes a nightmare. It's hilarious. I think that's going to be something fun that they can play with, and it'll be a pretty incredible series. Kevin says, WandaVision was great. How dare you? I can't make everybody happy, Kevin. I mean, I have an opinion, too. So just respect the process, okay? Just respect the process. A couple more before we jump into the parks here. Ironheart by Marvel. I thought that was going to be a movie. I think one of the characters from Wakanda Forever is going to be who becomes the character Ironheart, sort of like the new Iron Woman, if you will. I thought it was going to be a movie, but apparently that is going to be another Marvel series. But it's also based on that particular character and the suit that she creates, very similar to the Iron Man character from Tony Stark, who, of course, spoiler alert, if you guys haven't seen it by now, I don't understand why, but who dies in Endgame. So anyway, Amanda says, win or lose. December 6th release, 8 episodes will follow the stories of 8 characters as they prepare for a big middle school softball championship game. Sounds very run-of-the-mill for Pixar, doesn't it? Maybe it's like an underdog story, kind of like Sandlot, a little bit, maybe. All I know is that I think the preview that I saw, or just the video clip I may have seen, the animation style looked a lot like Turning Red, where they have almost sort of like an anime feel to them with, big, anime, big reactions and stuff like that. So it kind of felt like the same type of animation. But thank you very much for pointing that out. Kevin says, Win or Lose is a series based on middle school softball. Yeah, are you guys in the same house today? What's going on? You should be watching the show together. Let's see, Amanda, go Pickles. And also, very Turning Red style. Absolutely. Yeah, I picked that up very quickly because we had rewatched that movie, I don't know, about a month ago, I'd say. And another really great one from Pixar. All right, and the last couple that I have on my list, Andor Season 2, another Star Wars series. The first one, still haven't seen it yet, admittedly. Sorry. But I have heard it is a very good series. We started watching it, got through one episode, and just never picked up on it. No particular reason. It might have been a little confusing at the time, but we are in different rooms. Yeah, that was very apparent. Can't wait for Andor, Amanda says. You need to see it. Best Star Wars series. Yeah, I know. And see, I go and watch stuff like The Acolyte that even I still like, but people said was horrible. But whatever. I will get to it eventually. But it's good to hear that it got renewed for another season. And then finally, Percy Jackson and the Olympians Season 2. The first one, I didn't even know was out there, to be honest with you. But apparently that's a thing based on the Percy Jackson movies. And Season 2 will be coming out soon as part of their announcements. Let's see. Last thing on Kevin's comment says Andor is the best Star Wars series on Disney+, but if you don't like WandaVision, who knows? You got hurt, didn't you, Kevin? I'm so sorry. Shake it off, buddy. I know you can get over it. We'll get over it together, okay? We're in this together. All right, on to park news. And by the way, if you guys haven't noticed, I do have a ticker running along the bottom of the screen about our apparel store. I'm calling it an apparel store because it's not just t-shirts. It's not just t-shirts that you can buy. All the designs on Main Gate Magic on TeePublic is available to make t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve shirts, baseball tees, hats, mugs, pillows, throws, and water bottles, coffee mugs. There's all sorts of different things you can put them on. So if you guys are listening and you haven't checked it out, go to teepublic.com and do a search for main-gate-magic. It's writing on the ticker at the bottom of the screen if you miss it. And if you haven't checked it out before, please check it out. It's just, something that I do for fun. The designs are all from me. They're all original ideas. If I thought about them and they already existed, I didn't know about it. So if anybody goes on there and says, "Oh, I've seen that design before," I didn't know because I'm just doing it in my own style, which is why I call them original designs. They are from my brain. Oh, and Kevin says it's based on the Percy Jackson books. Well, yeah, but the series is also based on the movies, isn't it? Or is everything based on the books? You're probably saying that everything's based on the books. We'll go with that. All right, moving along, the park news. Again, there is a lot. We're going to start with the Magic Kingdom. Typically, I start on the West Coast, which is where I am, but we are starting with the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom is getting Villains Land. I don't know exactly where this is going because, again, I'm not as familiar with that particular park, even though I've been there a couple of times. And I can't remember where the concept art was shown. But if you guys actually want to take a look at the concept art, I'm sure you could probably do searches for D23 concept art, Disney parks, whatever. It'll pop up tons of stuff because this stuff was displayed everywhere. I do know that it's getting 2 new attractions, but I don't know if they actually displayed what those attractions are. They are also getting a Cars area, and apparently it's not a land. It's actually being added as part of Frontierland around the area where Big Thunder Mountain is. Now, I have seen the concept art, and I saw that the Cars ride, it's going to be kind of similar to Radiator Spring Racers in the sense that you're riding in a car and you're going around a track, but it's more, if you remember the movie Cars, when Lightning McQueen races in the dirt and he learns how to drift, I think it's more based off of that type of terrain. So that, I guess, is the reason why they're putting it in Frontierland, but it's a little confusing. There's been a lot of mixed reactions in the public about it. If you guys get a chance to check it out, take a look and give us your opinion about it. What do you think? I'm not quite sure what their thought is on this. Kevin says they've hinted at Beyond Big Thunder for Villains Land, but haven't said exactly where. I'm wondering if is going to be around the same. They must have more land out that area than any other place in the park because that's where they're putting the car stuff too. And Amanda says concept art shows them draining rivers of America and putting cars there. I refuse. Draining the river of America? And like putting dirt over, like no more rivers? That is a little odd to me. I refuse to believe that's where they're going to put. Yeah, that's odd, right? Because then what would they do to Tom Sawyer Island? I'm not quite sure how to feel about that. It sounds a little bit sketch. Kevin says there was a Mater short video where he time traveled. What? What is happening here? I think I need to have an episode of our show where I just go, WTF Disney, and make it not necessarily about all the magic, but just, we pull down the veil of niceness and just give our honest opinion, because this just seems kind of weird. I get it now why there's mixed opinions in the public views. Kevin says draining and filling it in and bulldozing Tom Sawyer. No. Oh no. See, I don't think I heard that. Thank you for letting me know that. I really hope for Florida, I feel for them because it's an iconic location within the park. It was something there from the beginning. I think it was from there from the beginning because it was a clone, so to speak, of what they did at Disneyland. But I don't go to that park as often, so I don't have as much of an emotional tie to that. If they ever did something like that at Disneyland, I probably would have a problem with that. Amanda says, yes, that's what it seems like. That's why there's so much mixed reviews about it. Yeah, I get it. And Kevin, cars don't belong in Frontier, so good luck to them figuring out a way to make it fit in the story. Yeah, and you know what? That actually brings up a good point. One of the things that they did actually announce at D23, that all of these things that I'm going to be mentioning are not just designs or blue sky, as they used to put it. Blue sky meaning that all they have done is drawn up blueprints and maybe tried to get patents or, land permits drawn up and stuff like that. They said all of these are in production. So, how many of these do you guys think are going to make the cutting room floor, and how many are just going to be scrapped or just revised slightly? I'm kind of curious. I don't think everything's going to happen because if they're smart and they listen to the public like I think they've been doing more lately, some things might be a little bit different once they get further down the line, but we'll have to see. Moving along to Hollywood Studios, and one that I am really excited about, which is a land for Monsters, Inc. And it's when I was talking about my top 3 Pixar movies, that is Monsters, Inc. is definitely among them. Lisa and I had recently watched a episode of Disney Jeopardy. It's a show we like to watch and just kind of test our Disney knowledge. And one of the categories was that should have been a ride. And one of the answers was not the scare floor, but it's based on the scare floor warehouse where they store all the doors. And when Mike and Sully are trying to get Boo back to her door, they go on this kind of roller coaster ride with all these tracks and doors everywhere. It's kind of included in the Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue ride at Disney's California Adventure. But this one is going to be a suspended roller coaster. And this is the very first time that Disney will have a suspended roller coaster in one of their parks. And I love the idea. I mean, I'm sold. You guys don't need to tell me anything else about the ride or the land. I'm there. I will make a special trip to go see it because I have actually never been to Hollywood Studios before, but this will actually make me go this time. I think I finally have a reason. So I don't know if I'll go before then, but I will definitely go once it's installed. Amanda says, I hope they take the feedback and backlash and reconsider some things. Yeah, me too. Super excited for Monsters, Inc. The land writes itself. Absolutely. There is just so much to do for a land like that. Character-wise, as far as all the monsters are concerned, you could have, the CDA walking around and doing 2319s on everybody. I mean, there's just so many things to pop into my brain. I would love to be a fly on the wall when they start brainstorming all of that stuff. That would be so cool. Patricia says, that sounds so fun. Yeah, I agree. That's one of the ones that I am most excited for, and I really hope comes to fruition. Kevin says, I'm going to miss the Muppet Vision movie. That was where they ended up. That's where they end up putting it. But Monsters Inc. is a great movie, and look forward to a land. Yeah, Kevin, I'm with you. I missed the Muppet Vision 3D show, even at California Adventure. It's now, I think it's Mickey's PhilharMagic, which is a great show in itself. But the Muppets are gone from Disneyland now, or from California Adventures, and I want it back. It was such a fun show. And just a neat little way to sit in a theater and relax for a little bit. But the PhilharMagic just, it's okay. I saw it's the same show that they have at the Magic Kingdom, and I get it. It's fun, but I personally, the Muppets are better for me. But then I was a huge Muppets fan growing up. Amanda says, an interactive character interaction with Roz. Let's go. I'm always watching you, Wazowski. Yeah, it could be almost. Oh, you know what? I would love to see another attraction like how they have the what is it? The laugh floor at the Magic Kingdom. That would be cool to see another one like that, but maybe just even more interactive or something along those lines. The creativity behind that I know was probably developed from when they did Turtle Talk with Crush, but it's another one of my favorite attractions over there. One that I can just do over and over again because it's different almost every time. They may say the same jokes and the same kind of routines and stuff, and there's some pre-recorded stuff, but just like Turtle Talk, the audience interaction is what makes it different every time, and that's why I love it. All right, so that's the only thing for Hollywood Studios. Moving on to Animal Kingdom. They are creating a Tropical Americas land, which I believe is where the current Dino Land is as it stands. That is, I believe, getting all demolished. The dinosaur ride is going to be replaced by an Indiana Jones ride, very similar to what we have out here in California at Disneyland for the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. And I think the track is probably going to remain the same, but from what I understand, it's going to be a different adventure. It's going to be a different type of temple with different scenes, different animatronics and everything like that, which I like that. I'm okay with that. Putting a clone was not the right way to go. Use the same track, that's fine. We'll probably know it's the same track, just like we know it was the same track when we rode it on Dinosaur, but making it a new story would be really neat. And I just have one suggestion for you, Disney. Make Indy a little bit more indie-ish. Because I've never been a fan of the way that they created the animatronic character at the beginning and the end of the ride. And maybe do somebody who can do his voice a little better too. I don't know. It's just never really felt like Indy when I wrote it. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. Let's see. Hello, Jennifer. I just got some great pictures at Muppet Vision in Florida. Some pictures of old stuff, Kevin. That's keep them, because, I mean, it's got some great stuff in it. I know there's not a lot of animatronics in there, but I love that Sattler and Waldorf are up there in the balcony, and they're razzing. And you've got I think a couple other animatronic characters in other balconies, and of course at the very end, Gonzo, I think, gets shot out of a cannon, and then the Swedish Chef is in the hole in the wall behind everybody when you turn around. Nowadays, it's Donald Duck, with his butt wiggling and his feet hanging out the wall. But I don't know, it was just a lot more interactive, I think, than what's currently there for PhilharMagic. Patricia says, buy little Velcro socks that can trigger a 2319. I'd love it. Or maybe have like a sensor that goes across, like every time that you pass a CDA agent, they turn around and they're like, 2319. That'd be great. Kevin says the shops, restaurant, and bathrooms will stay where they are at Dinoland, just being rethemed. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But back to the Animal Kingdom and what's changing. It's not just the Indiana Jones attraction that's being added in there, or just being the dinosaur ride reskinned, basically. They are also going to have a Encanto area where there's going to be a casita that you can, probably like an interactive house that you can explore. I'm guessing it's going to be something that's maybe similar to how Tarzan's treehouse was, or the Swiss Family treehouse as it is now, or the Adventureland treehouse sponsored by the Swiss Family Robinson. I don't know how they name it anymore. But if you guys know the exact one, put it in the chat. You've been great at correcting me so far, and I really appreciate all the help I'm getting today. But anyway, great movie, Encanto, and I would love to be able to see that. And Lisa's even a bigger fan than me. She's probably seen it maybe 10 times more than I have. And it would be a fun attraction if it was like a little walkthrough. Let's see. Kevin says, people have hinted at it being similar to the Mystic Manor ride in Hong Kong. Oh, so it's going to be a ride? That would be really cool. And the Mystic Manor ride, if you guys haven't seen it online, if you don't think you're going to get to Hong Kong anytime soon, just watch a video of the on-ride POV. That ride is amazing. So many cool special effects and visuals here and there, and animatronics, a fun little storyline and everything. It's kind of their version of a haunted mansion, but it's not a haunted mansion. It's a Mystic Manor. So, but it's really cool. Trackless ride with lots of cool projections that are used with the practical effects. When blended together, it's very, very magical. It's really cool. All right, moving along to Disneyland, which actually is the least amount of updates that they provided. But all we got was that Tiana's Bayou is going to be opening up on November 15th. So, hey, there's an official date now. Congratulations, they actually got the date. But I'm wondering if they're actually going to do something similar to Walt Disney World, where at the Magic Kingdom, they had a release date for it, but I think they opened it early. Whether it was a soft opening or whether they just said, screw it, we're opening it now. They might do the same thing at Disneyland. I guess it all depends on how far they get. But I know that they also have been testing certain things at Disneyland for that ride, and it is getting closer. I know November is like right around the corner, but I just thought it was funny that the opening date is going to be like getting close to winter. We're already going to be in the fall. So, hey, what better time to go on a water ride than when things are going to be like back to the 60s and 70s again. Anywho, let's see. Amanda, Encanto ride in the casita, going through all the rooms of the house. Antonio gets his gift going to his rainforest. That's right. I remember that now. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Because it is the animal kingdom, they focused on his ability that he ends up getting because he can talk to animals. And yeah, you're right. It's going to be you guys are right. It's going to be an attraction. So thank you very much for reminding me. I did know that, but I just, for whatever reason, didn't put it in my notes. We're past the hour. We're going to finish this out. I'm almost done. We're getting close to the end. Hang in with me, guys. Only got a few more to go. California Adventures, I think, is the park that's getting the most attention out of all of these. And I don't know how the heck they're going to do this. But the first thing that happened is apparently they stole the Avatar attraction. We had heard a while back, and we even announced it on this show, that Disneyland was going to be getting an Avatar attraction, and it was going to be going in Tomorrowland. Not going to happen no more. Apparently that's hopping over across the Esplanade over to California Adventures, and it will be there instead. The world of Avatar will take inspiration from The Way of Water and the Fire and Ash movie that's being made right now, with one new attraction. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but I think it's going to be more of a thrill attraction, not a slow water ride or anything like that. Something more exciting than that, closer to Flight of Passage, but I don't think it's going to be VR. Might even be like a ride. Not sure. Let's see. What you saying, Dad? Always impressive. Glad I could make it. I'm glad you could make it too. So happy that you joined. Always happy to see all you guys in here. I really do appreciate all the support. Disneyland is also getting the audio animatronic of Walt. How did I miss that one? Yes, that is the biggest new attraction that I think I am most... I said monsters, but you know what? I stand corrected. It's the Walt animatronic. From what I understand, Disney has asked for a patent or some kind of plans to do a turntable where Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is. So there will now be a shared experience in that particular theater where you'll either go in to see Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln or you will see the Walt Disney presentation. So there will be an animatronic of Walt Disney standing up on stage talking about Disneyland stuff, I'm sure. Similar to how he used to do it on the World of Color show or the Wonderful World of Disney, whenever he used to have those shows on ABC. I think that's going to be amazing because For those of us who never actually got a chance to watch it back in the day, it was very inspiring. Somebody might actually, have a new idol to, follow after, to walk in his footsteps, so to speak. And I think it's just going to be really cool because I know they have tons of audio they can borrow from it, and they probably will use a lot of that. But I'm excited just to be able to, even if I know it's going to be fake, it's going to be an animatronic, it's going to be emotional for me, and I just can't wait. If you guys have never been to the Walt Disney Family Museum in San Francisco, I think it's over at the Presidio. Very, very wonderful place. If you're a big Walt Disney fan, go visit it if you're ever in the Bay Area. It is something that you will remember for the rest of your life being a Disney fan. I absolutely love it, and I've only been there twice, but it's something to experience at least once in your lifetime if you are a Disney fan like me. Amanda also says Lincoln has been closed since April 16th. That's right. You're right. So it has been in the works for some time now to get that turntable working. Yeah. Interesting that they're putting it in that spot. I'm wondering how they're going to do it with, are they going to rotate it out during certain seasons, or is it just going to be alternating? Like they're going to show it as great moments with Mr. Lincoln, and then it's going to be Walt Disney after that. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see. Kevin says, I've lived in California for a while, and I don't know how Avatar fits in the theme of California adventure. I'm kind of with you there, bud. There's a lot of stuff that is kind of being phased out of California adventure now, and I almost wonder if maybe a new park name is in order. I don't know how they feel about that. I don't know how the public feels about it, but with the Pacific Wharf area being changed to San Francisco, and also the Paradise Pier area being changed to Pixar Pier, and with the Little Mermaid ride, with the Hollywood area now having lots of Disney stuff, and then of course Monsters Inc. It's such a hodgepodge right now. It's almost like it has an identity crisis. It doesn't know what it wants to be. I still love a lot of the attractions, and I love what they have planned, but again, I just don't know how they're going to fit it all in. So anyway, that's the first one for California Adventures, is the World of Avatar. The next one that they enlisted was a new Coco attraction that will follow Miguel through the land of the dead. Probably, I'm guessing, going to be a dark ride. It seems like it'd be a perfect setting for a dark ride with all of the colorful paint from the, Dia de los Muertos, skulls painted and stuff like that, and all the colorful lands that they had in the movie. I would love it to be a dark ride. Maybe like even a trackless dark ride with projections and audio animatronics mixed together. That would be really cool. I would love to see that. And then finally for California Adventures, Avengers Campus, is almost doubling in size. This is where I'm like, how are they going to do it? I know there's a lot of area behind the Avengers area, like kind of across from Pim's Kitchen where they do the Avengers show. There's like that big building there that I don't think is really being used yet. But that is actually going to have 2 new attractions added. One of them is the Avengers Infinity Defense, and also something called Stark Flight Lab, which apparently gives guests the ability to fly like a superhero. But I think it's, if I remember correctly, the images that they provided, the concept art, was people attached to like a robotic arm and maybe doing kind of like flight simulation with that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what they were doing. The Avengers Infinity Defense, the mission is to stop King Thanos. I don't exactly know what King Thanos is. I'm not sure if that's like another multiverse plane where Thanos actually ends up ruling over everybody. If there's any Marvel people there that know more than I do about that, please feel free to put it in there. Let's go back to Kevin's comment here. He says, Coco concept art shows a boat ride. Oh, okay. Well, I guess if it's still a dark ride, that'd be okay, right? I mean, as long as they do the black light with all the glowing stuff, I think it would be really beautiful. And then Amanda says, a huge space between that building you mentioned and the parking lot behind Guardians Mission Breakout. So yeah, that is definitely the spot where they're putting it all, but I'm wondering if one of those attractions that I mentioned is not going to be as big as maybe we think it's going to be. It's not going to take up a lot of real estate. I think it's the one that's the Stark Flight Lab. I think that one's going to be not so big. The Coco ride, or well, not the Coco ride. Gosh, with the Coco ride and the World of Avatar, it's just a lot of stuff to squeeze into one park that is already got stuff kind of crammed in it at this point. I just don't know how that's going to all happen, but whatever. It all looks like mostly behind the building with the Quinjet. Yeah, that's kind of the area that I was trying to describe very poorly. And yeah, that jetpack ride looks pretty small. Yeah, it almost looks like just kind of like a small flat ride, like picture like the teacup ride. That kind of a footprint, maybe a little bit bigger than the teacups, but that kind of a footprint where it doesn't take up a huge amount of space. Small queue with a small footprint for the ride itself. Or a large queue with a small footprint of the ride itself would probably make sense, but they'd have to have a lot of those things to get people through quickly. All right, moving along to Paris. Paris, they are going to have a new Lion King area, and along with it, they're going to have a new log flume ride based on the Pride Lands. And when I saw the concept art for this, if I would have thought about this smartly, I would have put concept art up on the screen every time that I talk about these. It reminds me a lot of like Splash Mountain / Tiana's Bayou. It's got a drop at the end, and kind of off to the side of the drop is where Pride Rock is sticking out with probably Simba at the top of it doing his little stance there. But I'm not really sure how I feel about a Lion King log flume ride. I don't know. What do you guys think? It might be kind of fun, I guess. But I just don't know how water gets into that. I mean, because if you remember The Lion King, the Pride Lands kind of went through some harsh times when Simba, ran away and Mufasa died and the lands dried up and everything. And true, the lands returned to their former glory, but I don't know. I'm guessing that would be kind of what it follows, the whole story of The Lion King, but we'll have to see. Kevin says, don't know when they'll put in the Coco ride, but it could be part of Disneyland Forward. Yeah, and that's one thing that I don't think they talked about, did they? Taking over the Simba lot by the Disneyland Hotel. That kind of makes sense. But I don't remember hearing anything about Disney Forward. So I'm kind of curious what happened with that. Is it just being scrapped and they're like, forget it, it's not going to happen, we're going to use the space some other way? Would be my guess, but we'll have to see what happens. You don't remember the scene, The Lion King, when the logs ran down the waterfall of Pride Rock? Logs. Really? Was there logs? Or was it just sticks? No, I don't remember that part. I don't know if you're messing with me or not, but I really don't recall that. Lion King flume makes no sense. There's no water there. Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying, yeah. Kevin, Disneyland Forward went through, and it will definitely happen. Okay, well that's good. Let's just can't wait to find out what will be there. That's still kind of hanging on by our fingernails for that one. All right, Shanghai Disney. There's going to be a new Spider-Man attraction, and they just called it a high-energy thrill coaster. So, Shanghai, Spider-Man, Shanghai. Congratulations, you guys got Spider-Man now. And I think there's also, in Hong Kong, they are also getting a new Spider-Man thrill attraction, which is going to be added to the existing area called the Stark Expo area. I have never been there before. It's one of my bucket list items. I definitely want to go. And let's just hope that both of these Spider-Man attractions will be a little bit more lovable than what I believe the Web Slinger ride is at California Adventure. It's a neat concept. I love the technology, but I think I'd rather go on Toy Story Mania, Midway Mania. It's a more fun game, and it's a lot more interactive than just sitting in a booth and doing this and getting your arms tired. I mean, your arms get tired at Toy Story Midway Mania, but I just prefer that one a lot better, especially for the fact that it actually spins around too. Let's see. We're getting close to the end here, guys. Thanks for hanging in with me. Kevin says I was being sarcastic. That scene did not happen. Yeah, I kind of thought so, but, it's hard to tell. It's like getting a text message. You don't know if somebody's joking on these things sometimes. And my brain is so fried right now doing all this talking, so I'm glad you clarified that. Hong Kong Spider-Man ride. I love that. Let's just call it the Hong Kong Spider-Man ride. Hong Kong Spider-Man ride is going to be like Tower of Terror. Ooh, that's kind of neat. Well, Tower of Terror or more like Guardians, because I know that this Tower of Terror still exists. Tower of Terror still exists in Florida, I think, at Hollywood Studios, if I'm correct. I don't know if it exists anywhere else, but it'll be kind of interesting to see how they theme that along. The one in Hong Kong looks like it could be a drop tower style ride, whereas the one in Shanghai is a roller coaster. Yeah, cool. Thanks for confirming, guys. You guys are like my Disney database today, my Disney backup databases. I really appreciate you here. Tokyo is the last park that I have news about, who is also getting a new nighttime spectacular. No new lands, no new attractions, but a new nighttime spectacular. Are they just calling it a projection show called the Reach for the Stars? So that's it as far as the parks are concerned. The only other thing that's on the list is the cruise lines, which I don't know if you guys have heard us in prior episodes talk about this, but they are ramping up their fleet, man. They got lots of ships in production. So what I got here, it says, in addition to the 5 ships that are already sailing around the world, and the 4 ships that are still in production right now, Disney will be adding another 4 ships, so another 4 ships, holy cow, to the fleet between 2027 and 2031, covering a total of 13 different destinations. That doesn't seem like a whole lot of destinations for that many cruise ships, but one of these days, we'll be going on a Disney cruise. Sounds like fun. Let's see. We got some more comments here. The one in Hong Kong. Let's see. Which one I leap off with. I took extensive notes throughout the presentations. I'm sure you did. You're on more than just this podcast as just an observer. I know you're on Walt's apartment every now and then too, or just as a regular, I think, right? And the, what is it? Mad Tea Party, which is also part of Walt's apartment. Which, by the way, guys, if you actually want to see me again on a different platform, I will be on Walt's apartment tomorrow night at, I believe, 7:30. Sean asked me to come on there and hang out with them for a little while, so I will be heading over to their side and chatting it up with them. Probably discussing a lot about this stuff, although I think that their D23 stuff was last week, which makes sense. It was closer to the time, but we couldn't do it at that time. Kevin, same difference. Tower of Terror is also in Paris and Tokyo Disney Sea. Thank you for that. Holy gamoly, that's a lot of ships. That's going to be a new phrase on the show. Holy gamoly. Alrighty. That is all I got, guys. That is my D23 wrap up. I really appreciate you guys hanging in for almost a whole hour and a half here, which might be an hour and a half by the time I actually sign off and say goodbye. I only got a couple more things to cover. Amanda says, yay, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you too. Dad says, live long. See ya, Father. Take care. Love you. Couple other things that I need to wrap up here before I close out the show. We are looking for another co-host. I haven't posted it on social media yet, but I will be doing it. I've put a request in for a new co-host in a Facebook group, and I've gotten quite a few responses already, which is actually very encouraging that there's that many people out there that actually want to hang out with us and share all the Disney magic, which is great. But I am going to be posting it on social media. I'll be doing interviews with people to find out who would be the best fit, and that way I can have a few more people on standby or just joining us so we could have more to bounce around and talk about. I do appreciate the fact that you guys are always commenting, and today was another great show, and I know you saw me alone and probably added more comments because of that. But this will actually help with that format and let us talk more about the stuff in detail. Yes, Kevin, this is a new record show length. I don't think we've had a show this long since episode 1, and I think it was only about an hour and 15 minutes. But since we're an hour and 20 almost in right now, probably a record. I don't usually do this, but you know what? Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. I was in it for the long haul. So, need a new podcast. So if you guys know anybody No, co-host, that is. Sorry. If you guys know anybody who might be interested, just have them send me a message on either Facebook, Instagram, any of our social media platforms is fine. I don't care, and we'll connect and see how it goes. Just so you know, if they are interested, just let them know that it's, of course, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and they must have a positive attitude and a love for all things Disney. So, if that's something that you guys are listening to and you think you might be interested, or you know somebody else, then go ahead and send me the message. Otherwise, you need not apply if those don't apply to you. And we talked about the Main Gate Magic Store, but again, I'll reiterate, it's on TeePublic. Original Disney-inspired designs, whimsical ideas. New design ideas are always welcome, so please feel free to leave me a comment on any of the social media pages if you have something that you're like, that'd be a neat design. Can you make that? I'll give it a shot. I'm always up for a challenge. Sneak peek into the next episodes. I'm going to have to go to my phone for this because I actually have a lineup of people that is a little overwhelming for me, and I've got a lot of scripts to come up with questions on. But next week, we have a surprise guest because I had somebody lined up that unfortunately hadn't responded yet, but the next guest that I got in place is fantastic as well. I'm going to have Mr. Isaac C. Singleton Jr. on the show. If you guys are not familiar with his work, he was the bosun in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. He plays the voice of Thanos for some animated Marvel series. And he was also, I believe, a Twi'lek character from one of the episodes, or maybe a couple of episodes, The Mandalorian. So definitely Disney-related character there. He's done a ton of other work as well. Been on movies like Deadpool and Anger Management, and a ton of others. And I actually just stalked his IMDb page. He's going to be one of the voices in the new Transformer 1 movie. I didn't even know that until today. So do not miss that episode. It's going to be really cool. Super fun guy. He's got a good sense of humor. Looking forward to having him on. The week after that, which is the 3rd, and Josh, if you're listening, thank you very much for setting this up for me, but Gina Rock will be on the show. She was the person who I believe flew over the Sleeping Beauty castle as Tinkerbell, sorry, as Tinkerbell at Disneyland in California. So he's going to get her lined up and have her on the show on September 3rd. Really appreciate him helping out with that. And then on the 10th, we have Margot Apostolos, and she is somebody who I've been trying to get on. It's just been reschedule after reschedule. The first time was totally a blunder on my part, and I still feel bad about it to this day. But she has been such a great sport, and I can't wait to have her on. She was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and she's also a former Disney cast member as well. She just recently retired from Disneyland, so it's going to be a great lineup of guests. Yes, Kevin, it is going to be a great lineup. I don't usually do this many special guests in a row, but it just kind of happened that way. And I'm kind of excited about it because it's just going to be a lot of fun just meeting all these people and talking and everything. So, and I hope you guys will join for all that. Nice, fun. That will fun to talk with. It'll be fun to talk to him. Yes, definitely. Super interesting and a very big guy, intimidating to meet, but just a really super nice dude. And he's kind of a jokester as well. I hope he kind of brings that attitude and magic to the show as well. That's all I got. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I got to upload this audio to all the other platforms. Thank you guys again so much for hanging in. I really do appreciate all of the interaction, all the comments, all the questions, all the help for the stuff that I wasn't aware of. This was a very long show, but I had a lot of fun doing it. And I'm really looking forward to a lot of the stuff they announced, movie-wise, park-wise, everything. A couple of them that are, but we'll have to see how it goes, and we will obviously keep you all updated in future episodes as things develop. Until that time, we will see you guys again next Tuesday, 6 o'clock p.m. with Mr. Isaac C. Singleton Jr. Hope you all have a great evening, a wonderful week, and even a better weekend. See you later. Bye.